right, welcome back, guys. Haven't done a little live stream like this in a little while, but figured why not? We've got some big news breaking here today. A huge update on Ripple versus SEC. The SEC has issued a litigation release announcing the resolution of its case against Ripple. So that is obviously huge news. And finally, and I just mentioned this in my video. If you haven't watched that video, make sure you guys do. I just released it. This is huge. Finally, I feel like XRP has been held down literally for half a decade. And I go through, some of the reasons why I feel like this is the hard reset that we needed. And it's the first big step in seeing XRP and Ripple's technology actually be utilized in the world's largest economy, here in the United States. This is a US-based company that's had to do business outside the United States for 5 freaking years. And now they're going to finally be able to get in the hands of the institutions and the big banks in the United States. So we'll get into that news. We also got CPI data and inflation data in. That is looking extremely well. It is also helping prop up the market. So we'll take a look at the entire altcoin space. I see a ton of people flying in here. Guys, make sure you guys hit the like button, subscribe down below if you have not already, and let us know your thoughts as we continue on here. And definitely want to hear from you guys too. If you guys got questions, comments, I'll try to get to as many people as I can here during the live stream as well. So love it, man. Let's see who we got in the chat. We'll also get into this big breaking news this morning. And this is actually dated on August 7th in terms of the big news here. But Cointelegraph just put the update out today that the SEC has issued this litigation release. So this is actually going public today, like this actually, this actual litigation release. The news kind of surfaced, though, a few days ago, if you guys remember. But now we've got kind of official word out there. And basically, here's what we've got, okay? The SEC announces joint stipulation to dismiss appeals, resolving civil enforcement action against Ripple and 2 of its executives. The SEC today filed a joint stipulation of dismissal. So this was back on August 7th that they did this, but we're just hearing about it fully today. All right, so they filed a joint stipulation of dismissal. They entered into with defendants Ripple Labs, Brad Garlinghouse, and Christian Larson that dismisses the commission's appeal and Ripple's cross appeal pending in the United States Court of Appeals for the Second Circuit, and it resolves the commission's civil enforcement action against defendants. Those cross appeals followed a final judgment by the district court that imposed a $125 million civil penalty against Ripple and an injunction prohibiting Ripple from violating any registration provisions of the Securities Act of 1933. And following the dismissal of the cross appeals, that final judgment will remain in effect. And so what does all of this mean? I think that's a big question that a lot of people want answers to. And I want to give you guys my thoughts on it. Let's see who we got in the chat. We got Juan here. What's going on, Juan? How you doing? Crypto Moon Gods in the house. What's going on, bro? Appreciate that for reposting the stream. If you guys are on X and you guys could repost the stream, that'd be awesome. I know YouTube doesn't have that feature, but that would be awesome if you guys can help share it out there over on X. What's going on, everybody? I see everybody coming in from different spots. Let me know where you guys are coming in from. Always like to see where you guys are out there. And let's see, XRP, SHIB, Ethereum. Yeah, Ethereum's looking phenomenal here. That's for sure. CPI is at 2.7. Yes, that's the other news. We'll get into that as well. CPI data just came in. We're getting ready for market open as well. So I think the markets are liking what they're seeing right now. That's for sure. Ethereum's up 5% in the last 24. It's also up 21% in the last 7. And XRP starting to climb here a little bit as well in the last hour. So good stuff. Good stuff for sure. Let's see who else we got here. Good morning. Good morning. Good evening. Depending on where you guys are coming in from. Hello. Hello. Welcome. 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 From Earth. Nice. Nice, nice. Yeah, CPI data looking pretty good for sure. We'll take a look at the indicator. We'll take a look at the shorter term time frames for sure here. Once we get into the CPI news, I want to kind of highlight some other things happening in the altcoin space. Long time haven't seen a live stream from this channel. Yeah, we don't do as many live streams because we're always doing the Breakfast Club. We do it 2 hours a day over on X. So if you guys aren't familiar with that, we've been doing that for like 15 months. So we do kind of a live show over on X. So if you guys don't follow me on X, make sure you guys do. If you guys are watching this on YouTube, my X is linked all over my YouTube channel. Make sure you guys are following me over there for sure, because that's where we're having a lot of the live conversations. So definitely give that a look if you haven't already. Tori, thanks so much for the $2 super chat. Appreciate that, bro. Thank you. Why Ondo's no working? Ondo still looks very good, man. It's a slow grow right now, but to me, it's one of my favorite holdings for sure. That entire RWA protocol space, man. Happy Tuesday, Tony. How you doing, bro? Yeah, the news did come out a few days ago, but they're kind of making it official today. So that was kind of like a lot of leaked documents that came out a few days ago, and they're kind of officially releasing it today. That's why Cointelegraph, one of the top um, outlets, is making it public today. Nebraska, we got Nashville in the house. Good to see everybody. Good to see everybody. XRP price this year. I still like the $7 to $10 target once we really heat up in this altcoin run. That's what I'm still eyeing. So XLM looks really good too. XLM looks really good. Those are two of my favorites, XRP, XLM. So let's take a look at this, because really when it comes to this RWA space, man, this is where I'm trying to make my bread here for sure. In this RWA space, trying to front run some of the next big narratives, right? Some of the big institutions that are going to join the party, they're going to be looking for assets to invest in outside of just Bitcoin and outside of just Ethereum. And we've seen Chainlink start to perform really well right at the top there, right? So they've started doing their thing. They're up over $22 right now. Stellar XLM has been kind of quietly building as well. They're sitting there right around 40 cents. HBAR Hedera has had a nice run. AVAX finally waking up a little bit. There's Ondo back to $1. Algorand, which I really like, they're ranked number 45, much smaller market cap than a lot of these ones at the top, right? So I think Algorand really has some room to run, and it's really nicely situated. Now, XRP should be on this list when we look at RWA protocols. Why they're not on here, I have no idea from CoinMarketCap, but Ripple and XRP are huge players when it comes to tokenization. They're partnered with Ondo Finance. They're obviously in that joint venture in Dubai to tokenize real estate. They're starting with $16 billion worth of real estate that they're tokenizing over there. But this whole RWA protocol space, man, this is where I'm trying to front run big time. XRP, XLM, HBAR, Ondo, Algorand. Algorand had some big news that just dropped, actually. Did you guys see this? Algorand Foundation is coming to America. So they revealed this recently, that they're moving their full headquarters to the United States. New chapter, same mission. Now, they've had roots in the United States for a while, but they've had different offices, different headquarters around the globe. They started out and launched their token in the United States, but now they're fully coming back with their foundation to the United States. So I thought that was some big news. I think that speaks volumes in terms of where we're at right now in the United States, and US-based companies in this cryptocurrency space, none bigger than XRP, right? And they're right at the top. So when we think about, where the institutions are going to go outside of Bitcoin and Ethereum, if they're looking for the best use cases, they're looking for the biggest companies. They're looking for the companies that are, helping this transition from traditional finance to DeFi and merging all of this together. They've got to look at XRP. They can't ignore it. And this is why I think, this big news coming down, that lawsuits kind of fully behind us and we're fully clear. This is huge. This is huge. And I feel as if we're now finally just beginning. You know, it's been so much speculation for so long in terms of, Ripple and what they provide. They had to go do business outside the United States. Quite frankly, I mean, that's what they had to do. They were forced to go outside the US and build their business out. And now they're able to come back within the United States, come back home, and obviously foster innovation here in the United States. And I made this parallel, I talked about this in my video that I just put out. And I see a lot of people hanging out with us here. By the way, appreciate everybody out there. Make sure you guys are subscribed if you're not already. Hit the like button. Help us spread the stream out. Appreciate everybody being here. But they were forced to go innovate in different pockets of the world, like the Middle East. They were forced to go to Asia. And honestly, hindsight 2020, like looking at this long term, looking at this big picture, it could be a good thing because they were forced to go grow their businesses outside the United States. And did they ever, right? They got some huge adoption within South Korea, huge adoption in the UAE, so to me, I look at it as, it sucked, that they weren't able to innovate in the place where they're at, where their headquarters are. But it allowed them to really grow their business models and enhance their reach. But now I think it's time to come back home in the United States and foster some of these big relationships with the big institutions, with the big banks. The partnership with Ripple and Ondo is a big one. And we've talked about this before. And I made a video recently and people were kind of going crazy saying, "Oh, you're just, throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks and blah blah blah. There's no connection between Ripple and XRP and BlackRock and all of this stuff." Right? But there are. And it starts with Ripple, XRP, and Ondo. And Ondo Finance, this is officially from them. They are bringing tokenized treasuries to the XRP ledger. This news came out in June. And when this news dropped, my immediate reaction was, wait a minute. This means that there are ties and relationships now with BlackRock, JP Morgan Chase, and XRP. Why? Because if you go look at Ondo Finance and their website and their backing, here, you know what? Let's just go to ChatGPT. Ondo Finance partnership with BlackRock and JP Morgan. And I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. So back in May of this year, JP Morgan completed its first public blockchain transaction, effectuating a tokenized US Treasuries trade via who? Ondo chain. Thanks to the infrastructure from Ondo Finance and Chainlink. And Chainlink is part of this as well. Okay, the significance, the transaction, a delivery versus payment DVP settlement served as a milestone. It bridged JP Morgan's private payments network with a public blockchain, making a major institutional grade leap for tokenized real world assets. Okay, so that's the link there. And again, Ripple's now partnered with Ondo. JP Morgan just used the Ondo chain in order to complete the first public transaction. So then we look at BlackRock and Ondo. Through its Global Markets Alliance, launched in Q2 2025, Ondo's partnered with over 30 institutions, including BlackRock, JP Morgan, Solana Foundation, and others to tokenize real-world assets like U.S. Treasuries and money market instruments. By mid-2025, Ondo had tokenized $1.1 billion in treasuries via BlackRock's BITUNIX protocol with $1.4 billion total value locked. Additionally, Ondo's OUSG product is backed by major institutional managers, including BlackRock, Fidelity, Franklin Templeton, Wellington, and WisdomTree, and layers in infrastructure for collateral and liquidity via Ondo's system. So there you go. People want to know what's going on with Ondo. How does this all, line up? Here's the bottom line. With JP Morgan, Ondo helped facilitate a pioneering institutional experiment in cross-chain settlement, bridging traditional banking infrastructure with public blockchain. And then with BlackRock, Ondo's enabled large-scale tokenization of U.S. Treasury-based instruments, unlocking institutional demand and liquidity in on-chain money markets. And then we have this news. Ondo Finance brings tokenized treasuries to the XRP ledger. So all of these people saying that there's no connection, this is what I have been saying for a very long time. There is a connection. Is it a direct link? Not necessarily. But Ondo's biggest players, biggest backers are the huge institutions, guys, are the massive banks. And so this is what excites me about this entire RWA space and where we could potentially be going next. So Chainlink was mentioned in that whole spiel that we just broke down. I think XLM and HBAR and AVAX and Ondo and Algorand, all these big players have a role to play, and including XRP that should be on this list, but they're not. So if I'm a betting man, which we all are in the cryptocurrency space, we're speculating, right? That's essentially what we're doing. We're trying to make educated guesses. We're trying to guess right when it comes to how the big institutions are going to move next, where the institutions are going to direct their attention and focus, and where they're going to invest next. That's what we're essentially trying to do, right? And if I'm trying to front run and give myself an opportunity in this altcoin market, this is the jam, man. Like, this is where I want to be, right here. There's no reason for me to go dumpster diving right now. With the institutional money pouring into this market, this is what I'm trying to say. And it's not to say I don't like small caps or don't like gaming or don't like meme coins or don't like this or that. I'm making plays all across the board, but where I'm really building out the biggest holdings and where I'm going heavy into is trying to front run the institutions. This is an institutionally driven market now. It's very different than 2021. And that's what people don't necessarily fully realize. It's just how different this market is now compared to 2021. Back in 2021, the institutions, some of them were quietly accumulating. Keyword, quietly accumulating, right? But more or less, this was a retail-driven market back in 2020 and 2021. And I'm sure a lot of you guys were here. And if you weren't, that's fine. You're new to this. I'm just trying to give you guys a snapshot of where we've come from here in the last 5 years. Because if you've been in this space, like many of us have for the last 5+ years, the amount of change that has happened when it comes to institutional demand has been insane. So yeah, back in 2020, back in 2021, during that altcoin season, you could throw a dart and hit bullseye blindfolded. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you could literally just throw a dart blindfolded, hit bullseye. You were going to make some money as long as you took some profits along the way. You were going to do well. You were going to do pretty well. But that's not the case anymore, guys. In my opinion, that is not the case anymore. Today's market is much, much different. And you've got to be super selective. You've got to be super smart about where you put your money. Because these institutions, they don't mess around, guys. Nor do they lose. These institutions, they're not here to play little kids' games. They're not here for the brand new meme coin on pump.fun. And that market's still there. We'll play it here and there. You know, I've mentioned this many times before. I'm heavily invested in, you know, some of the top meme coins that the institutions might actually have interest in, but I'm not, you know, making these big, massive bets on super speculative assets. You don't have to. You don't have to. And right now, Ethereum is pumping like crazy, guys. Let's take a look at the ETH chart here real quick. So ETH now is at 4,400. Massive, massive move to the upside here. Let's take a look here. Another huge, huge burst here on ETH. And look at this, man. Since our momentum up, our buy signal flashed at 2770. We're up 60% in a little over 30 days. This was the buy signal right here on ETH at 2770. See that momentum up? That is a buy signal triggered. And if you guys want to know how I got that, I'm using my trading software, Algo. You guys know that you guys can get access to it, a little over $1 a day, 30-day money-back guarantee. If you guys are serious about leveling up your game, this is the time to get in. I'm telling you guys, you will not be disappointed with this product. I launched it 2+ years ago now. Tons of people are using it, and they're loving it. And you could set up your own alerts. If you'd have set up your own alert here on the one day on Ethereum, you'd have been alerted. Hey, this is the buying opportunity. 2770 right here. Bang, let's go. This is your opportunity. Look at this. We're up 60% in the last 34 days. But yeah, ETH is looking phenomenal here. Continuing to outperform Bitcoin. And by the way, this is good. I know a lot of people, you know, like to say this or that, or, you know, I don't like ETH, like XRP. If we're holding XRP, we want ETH to do its thing too, because then you guys know what happens. That capital starts to rotate, and then the entire altcoin market starts to heat up. So this is what we want. This is what we want. All right, let's take a look at what else is moving here. Yeah, no surprise here to see Uniswap and Lido DAO up here alongside Ethereum, guys. These are great beta plays on ETH. Uniswap is the largest DEX. Lido DAO, biggest liquid staking platform on Ethereum. No surprise to see these running, especially after the news that the SEC said liquid staking is not going to be a security. 100%. Alts are next up. We all know how this game is played, man. It rotates into ETH, and then it rotates into everything else. And Aerodrome has been going crazy too. We've talked about that, the largest DEX on base for a very long time. Love Aerodrome. Love the base chain, especially because it's built on ETH. But Chainlink is heating up again. Jasmy finally moving a little bit. That's good to see. Ondo Finance now up 2% on the day, so that's good. Bitcoin's up a little bit, but ETH continues to dominate here. XRP trying to get green here on the day. They might turn green here very, very soon. Let's take a look at the XRP chart. This is the 1 week. But if we go into the 1 day, so our last momentum up buy signal on XRP, again, Algo, called it again. You guys can get this software, and you guys can have the alpha that I have. We got the buy signal at 240. So from that buy signal right here to where we are now, that's a 32% gain. If you draw this line from when we wicked all the way up in 12 days, that went up 52% in 12 days. So a huge move there. Again, Algo was all over it. Links down below. Now, this is obviously $1 a day, because if you use the discount code link down below in the description, you're going to get the monthly for $37. It's a 30-day money-back guarantee. So this is a paid subscription, but it's going to help you make a ton of better moves in crypto. I've got some free offers for you guys too. If you guys haven't joined my newsletter, definitely join this. Let me drop this as a comment right here. Click that link. Name and email is all we need, and you're going to be signed up to get the free alpha, free information. And this is for building wealth in crypto, guys. I want to give you guys back information for free as well, all the time to my audience. So make sure you guys sign up for the newsletter if you haven't already as well. But ETH is cooking right now. ETH is cooking. And we got that CPI data in. It's one of the big reasons why we're seeing this pump. So CPI data or inflation data came in today. And here it is. The data was out. So CPI actually came in a little bit lower than expected. So we always have our headline data and then our core CPI. Our core CPI is probably even more important when it comes to inflation and when it comes to what the SEC and the Feds look at for, potentially cutting interest rates. But our headline CPI was 2.7, projected was 2.8. Core CPI 3.1, projected was 3.0. The markets are liking it. The markets are liking it. No doubt about that. So appreciate everybody tuning in here with us over on X. I know we've got a bunch of people listening to us over on X. If you guys haven't shared the X live stream, definitely would appreciate that. I don't know how many reposts we've got on that, but would definitely help us out. Let's see. I want to go through my feed because I mentioned a lot of stuff that I thought were interesting. Algorand coming back to America with their headquarters. I thought that was big. Be on the lookout. Again, I mentioned Crypto Breakfast Club. This is our X space that we do daily. We're going to be starting that in about 7 minutes. We're going to be giving away some UFC tickets. How about that? We're giving away some UFC tickets. So make sure you guys get locked into that. Follow me on X. You don't want to miss out on that opportunity. I mentioned Chainlink a little bit earlier. I put a video out yesterday. If you guys haven't seen this video, this was some major news for Chainlink. And Chainlink's got their ties, in with Ondo and Ripple and BlackRock, and they're huge when it comes to tokenization. So Chainlink just talked about they're launching a link reserve, and whales are accumulating link like crazy right now. Large transaction volume for Chainlink surged to 60.76 million link, which is equivalent to 1.21 billion within a 24-hour period recently. That was late last week. And this represents an increase of over 863%. Highlights heightened whale activity on the Chainlink network. Analysts are projecting potential price targets now of $47.15 and maybe even higher if the trend continues. A lot of people calling for anywhere from $88 to $100 per Chainlink, sitting at $22 right now. So that $88 target would be about a 4x from here. I'd be all for it. I'll tell you that. Let me zoom out here. I don't know if you guys have seen this bio protocol. They recently got listed on Coinbase. This was a phenomenal trade. We called this at 100 mil, and now it's racing. Got up over 200 mil. Let's see where it's at right now. Let's see if bio's still moving. Let's see here. See if it's heating back up this morning. It's still over 200 mil. So, I mean, it was a nice 2x. Like, this chart bottomed out, but then it got listed on Coinbase, guys. Crazy. And then it did this. So we kind of figured we'd be close to the bottom. Somebody mentioned Toshi earlier on base. That thing has been cooking. Toshi on base has been absolutely cooking. That chart looks phenomenal. That's looking primed and ready for a run. That's for sure. Toshi on base. Love to see that. Love to see that. It's all going to depend, in terms of price predictions and things like that. It's hard to give these, by the way. It's so hard to kind of talk about this. And I said when XRP was down at 50 cents still that I still liked the $7 to $10 target by end of 2025. And this was back in early 2024 when we were still at 25 cents. That if we were going to get the Q4 run in 2025, similar to a Q4 run that we got in 2021, that I like the $7 to $10 target. So I'm gonna stay firm in that. I'm gonna continue to say that. I recently put out a video on XRP that some projections, some predictions out there. Some of the analysts, they like $11. I mean, that's not out of the realm of possibility. But so much of this is going to hinge on how fast do we get the Clarity Act through, how fast do we get XRP ETFs, right? Because that is how the institutions want to invest in this market. They want to go through ETFs. And where I think XRP could really thrive is in the area of basket ETFs, right? Where you can get exposure to a lot of the ISO compliant cryptos, United States based companies where XRP is like heavily weighted, right? Imagine an ETF where you have, the top 5 largest US based companies in that ETF, and it's weighted heavily toward XRP, like 40% or something. I think the institutions would love this. And I think this is what they would want. Right? Imagine if you can get exposure to XRP, XLM, HBAR, Chainlink, and Ondo, for example, and Algorand. And it's a basket ETF where it's weighted appropriately, like an index, right? Like the S&P 500. To me, this is where the institutions would really, really get interested. This is how they want to get in. This is definitely how they want to get in. I'm seeing some questions come in here. I got to start this space, but I'm going to let Paid kind of handle it for a minute while I talk shop with you guys, because I do want to take some Q&A. I do want to get some questions in. I didn't want this stream to be extremely long. Sometimes people come on the stream and they ramble and ramble. I want these to be really solid, good information, get you guys in and out of your way and on your way. But let me start the space real quick. I've actually already scheduled this, so I just need to launch it. And then Paid, my co-host, can take it over. And if you guys are all sitting here and you're wanting something to do right after I close this stream, come on over and listen to us on the Crypto Breakfast Club. I'm sure a lot of you guys probably do already, but if you guys don't, we do a 2-hour show right after this stream. So let me show you where you guys can find that, because we do have the Breakfast Club's main page now, and this is where we host the spaces. So I just literally started this thing. So it's at Crypto B Club with 2 B's. You can find it on my profile over on X, and then I'm a co-host, and my buddy's a co-host as well. So we'll be rocking and rolling over there for a couple hours. So let me take some questions, guys, from the audience here, and then I got to jump on the space here. Hopefully all of you guys can come on over and join me over there too. That'd be great. But let me take some questions from you guys. What do you guys got? What do you guys got? What do you mean no audio? I'm not giving you the audio from the space. I'm just talking to you. Never heard of it. Manu Club. This is one of those smaller cap meme coins I actually like. Technology to get paid at work every hour on the hour. Zebic is a no-brainer. I like Zebic. The liquidity is just extremely low. That's the only thing that I'm worried about. It's the only thing I'm worried about is that super, super low liquidity. That makes me a little nervous, to be honest. There's no doubt about it. I mean, you can't stop the levels of manipulation from happening, but you can get on board. And that's the thing. Like, a lot of people will just complain, oh, the institutions are here and blah, blah, blah. Well, I mean, the only thing left to do is to, you know, get in where you fit in, man. Get on board, you know? That's it. Like, that's the only thing you can do. It's the only thing you can do. All right, guys. What I'm going to do here is I got to jump over and start my 2-hour show on the space. But I wanted to come in here and talk with you guys for a little bit. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to drop this link here for you guys. There you go. It's right there. Come on over and join us. Crypto Breakfast Club, X Space. Let's get over there and rock and roll, man, because we're going to get into what we've been talking about here on the stream, a lot of other things as well. Some great conversations, great people, super, super educational, and definitely want to see you guys jump over there. So come on over and join us on the space. Thank you guys so much for all your support. You guys do not understand how grateful I am to do this every single day. I absolutely love it and cherish it. Seriously. I mean, I can't even believe where we've come from when I first got into crypto, and I'm learning every single day. We don't have it all figured out, but that's why we're continuing to perform well in this market. We come into it with an open mind. We front run the next big narrative. And as I mentioned during this stream, guys, the next big narrative to me is tokenization, getting out ahead of the institutions. So I appreciate you guys so, so much, and going to continue to deliver the best news and information in alpha that I can every single day for you guys. All right. Check out the free newsletter. That's some more free alpha for you guys multiple times a week. Get in on that if you haven't already. Come on over and join us right now at the Crypto Breakfast Club. We're getting ready to get this show on the road. And yeah, looking forward to seeing you guys back here, on the channel very, very soon. Thank you guys so much. Don't forget to like the stream. People will watch this back on the replay. Subscribe, do all that great stuff. Appreciate you guys, and we'll see you guys in the next video.